In this module, we are going to talk about the wonderful world of social media. Oh, look at that. That was fun. Why do we need to know this? Ultimately, social media is a fantastic tool for you to use in today's business world to connect with potential buyers and sellers. It is where many of your buyers and sellers are spending a lot of their free time. And so if you're missing out on this opportunity, you're missing out on this opportunity. And if we do this incorrectly, it can result in steep financial penalties, bad publicity, loss of reputation for us and for our brokerage, and ultimately bad news travels fast. And social media is often the way that bad news travels fast. So we want to make sure that we are doing it right. Throughout this entire course, we've talked to you about competence and that confidence equals competence equals confidence. And what does competence mean? It means to be good at something, like really good at something. And ultimately, a lot of times, bless our adorable hearts, we don't know what we don't know until we expose our entire box of knowledge to the light. So, do we know what we don't know? Well, let's have fun with that. As always, we want you to make your mistakes loudly. I used to sing in a lovely choir at church. We had a beautiful choir director who was very, very knowledgeable, and she used to tell us, I would much rather you make your mistakes in here than out there. And I've never yet to date met a broker anywhere in the United States as I've traveled the country teaching who wants their agents to make mistakes on the public. We want to make our mistakes here, and we want to create safety for you so you can come to us, you can ask questions, you can learn, and hopefully you have that same relationship with your broker so that you feel very, very safe going to them and asking all of the questions that you have. Knowledge will make you think, but emotion will make you act. So we've got to really truly think. I think I've talked to you at this point about we as humans make emotionally based decisions and we backfill with logic. All right. I want you to think for just a minute about what we love. What do you love about social media? What are your favorite platforms? And what do you use them for? What are your favorite things to do there? Is it to watch cat videos? Is it to share memes? Is it to find things that are funny? Is it to connect with family members and friends that you don't get to see on a regular basis? For me, I got into social media because my children started to grow up and leave the house. And it was difficult as they were scattering to the four winds to keep track of what was going on. The things that we used to find out about our kids around the dinner table. And in the morning when they were getting ready for school, when I drive them to and from school, all of a sudden, all of those interfaces were gone. And so I needed to rely on social media and the things that they were posting on social media about their lives, about their schoolwork, about their tests, because when I would call them and say, how's it going? What was the answer? Oh, fine. We all get that. But if I had something to connect with them about and talk to them about that they had posted, you talked about your history professor. How's that class going? And then a conversation can start. But sometimes we forget about the things that are even the most stressful or most pressing upon us in the moment because we're just not thinking about it and we're just distracted by everything that's going on around us. So think about the things that you love about social media, and then this might be an easier list. Think about the things you don't love about social media. And I'm excited to engage in that space with you and talk to you about the things that you love and the things that you don't love. But the Code of Ethics actually does address a few aspects of social media, and we're going to talk about that in different places throughout this course. Basically, the thing that I want you to know right now is don't say anything negative about anyone, ever, because the Code of Ethics has recently been modified, and it basically includes all of it. We as real estate professionals are going to abide by the Thumper rule. Remember the movie Bambi? And Thumper says, if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all, right? Super simple, but just because it's simple does not mean that it is easy. As real estate professionals, as realtors, we are going to abide by and live by a higher standard, that we're not going to criticize other agents, that we're not going to criticize our own clients, that we're not going to be disparaging about other business models, which theoretically could be a violation of federal antitrust law. We're just going to be really careful about the negativity. This world needs more joy, more light, more positivity. And as a thought leader in your community now, as a real estate professional, I want you to start thinking of yourself and viewing yourself that way, remembering you are the CEO of your own company. Be very, very careful and very strategic and very intentional about what you're putting into the social media stratosphere, and be very positive in your approach. I promise it will pay you rich dividends. Inappropriate social media usage is something that every broker worries about, from fair housing violations to antitrust violations to fiduciary duty violations in terms of disclosure, confidentiality. It's a quagmire of things that could go wrong. Every single agent, you have a responsibility to know what you can and cannot and should not be posting on social media in order to not violate your office policy, the code of ethics, federal law, and state law. Remember Foursquare? I just did it backwards. Just making sure you're paying attention. There are a lot of issues and a lot of pitfalls that we could talk about. We're not going to talk about it here, but we can talk about it together. So as you come up with and run across things that you see in your marketplaces and you have questions about, wait a minute, is that legal? We would love to answer those questions for you. My friend Cheryl, who is a broker in the state of Texas, said when I was teaching at the Texas State Realtor Convention a couple of years ago, we are only liable for two things: what we say and what we do. And that is true of all of us in all forms of communication, whether it's face-to-face, whether it is in a classroom, whether it's in our brokerage office, whether it is in a settlement at the settlement table, or whether it's on social media. We are all responsible for all that we say and all that we do. So it behooves brokers to teach agents how to use social media. But you may find that you did not receive this training, and so we're very, very happy to teach you how to use social media as the tool that it is. Basically, I want you to take a good hard look at your profile, your own profile, and start with the platform you use the most. For many of us, that platform is Facebook. We talked already about the fact that your picture, your profile picture, should be of you. It should be clear. It should be recent. It should be of you only. And then start to look at the things that you have posted and the pictures that you've posted and ask yourself, does what I'm putting out there display maturity, character, judgment, and professionalism? If I were interviewing for a job, would someone hire me based on the things that I have on my profile? That's exactly what you are doing every single day. You are applying for the job to be someone's buyer's agent, to help them find the perfect house for them and to help them get it. You are also interviewing for the position of being someone's listing agent, to sell their most valuable asset. That requires character, maturity, judgment, and professionalism. I could regale you for hours with stories that I've heard in the business world of people who have gone to apply for jobs that they really wanted, that they were well qualified for, but who did not get it because their social media platform, their social media profile was so unprofessional that it spoke to who they actually were, and that wasn't acceptable to that potential employer. What about you? And what about your potential employers? Those buyers and those sellers who would hire you to help them with this very, very important real estate transaction. I'm not telling you to not be yourself, and I'm certainly not telling you to stay home and not have any fun on weekends. I'm asking you to take a good hard look at what you're putting out into the social media world and ask yourself, does it meet these 4 tests? Social media is a tool, and we want to make absolutely certain that we're using it correctly. I've already recommended to you an amazing book called Jab, 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 Right Hook, a great picture book from Gary Vee about what to do and what not to do in social media platforms. There's a lot to study in this space, and we can't do it all in the course of this course. All we can do is start introducing you to the basics and the concepts and walk with you and help you as you work to put these platforms together. I'm definitely going to recommend that you have at least a personal Facebook page, a personal YouTube channel, a personal Instagram account, and a personal LinkedIn account. Those are your essential 4 so that you can start going wide and deep with the content that you're going to start putting out there. And we will give you ideas as we go along. But the best idea, honestly, that I can give you is to take the National Association of Realtors ePro course. It is a deep dive, an all-day, 2-day, 14-hour deep dive into social media, the platforms, how to use those platforms to connect with today's highly connected consumer, as well as keeping our clients' data safe and secure. And as of the recording of this course, the course has just recently been updated. And as you can imagine, with technology evolving so quickly and so fast, it's got to be updated regularly, or it wouldn't be a timely and appropriate course for realtors to take. I love teaching it. I love the way it helps me keep on my toes, and we're excited to give you as much as we can in the depth and breadth and scope of this particular course. But there's more to learn, and there will always be more to learn because technology is rapidly evolving so fast. So be committed to always learning and growing. Otherwise, we're stuck with rotary phones, right? Basically, as we're teaching you to use social media as a tool, there are a couple of things that I want you to know. And one of them is that you need to stay away from hot button issues that are likely going to prevent you from building those bridges of connection. The building bridges of connection requires that you not offend people. And the 3 fastest ways to offend people are to talk about sex, politics, and religion. So you need to be very, very careful about the humor that you use and the things that you're putting out there in the world. A lot of people, frankly, of all ages, say that they are sick and tired of Facebook because of all the politics and all of the negativity. And a lot of people are gravitating more toward Instagram, which is entirely based on pictures. And I can't even think of a single post that I've ever seen on Instagram that was even a little bit negative. So think about what you're putting into that space. And I've said that already, but I really, really want you to be very intentional and very strategic about what you are putting out there. So last but not least, I want to ask you to think about what are you going to do differently than you've been doing in terms of your approach to social media. And we're going to walk along this journey with you. But for now, let's just talk about what you love, what you don't love, and what you're going to do differently. And then we'll start giving you more ideas of things that you can post, resources you can use so that you can create that connected bridge building engagement with your intended audience.